In the name of Allah, peace be upon you, friends. Welcome to a new video. In the previous video, we talked about all the important events of the Season 1 of Attack on Titan. In this video, we'll discuss all the major events of the Season 2. So if you haven't watched the previous video yet, make sure to go check it out so you can remember all the past events. The link to Season 1 is in the description. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're new, and share this video on social media so more people can see it. The first scene of Season 2 picks up right where Season 1 ended with the shocking reveal of a Titan inside the walls. We see the head of the Church of the Walls being questioned by Hanji, who is investigating how a Titan could possibly be inside the very walls that protect humanity. Hanji, being sharp and suspicious, believes that there may be more Titans hidden within other parts of the walls. She's convinced that the walls themselves are entirely made of Titans. She puts intense pressure on the head of the Church of the Walls, demanding answers, but he refuses to reveal any secrets. Left with no other choice, Hange orders of covering the wall. Later, we see Eren, Mikasa, and Armin reflecting on how little they truly know about the world of the Titans. Right after that, a soldier rushes in with urgent news for Captain Erwin Smiths, confirming that there's a Titan inside the walls. At this point, the anime jumps back 12 hours before the incident. We see a group of soldiers, all except Eren and Mikasa, stationed in the southeastern region of Wall Sina. After a long time of calm, Sasha rests her head on a table, but suddenly jolts up, sensing something strange. She feels the presence of Titans coming from within the walls. However, Reiner quickly dismisses the concern, saying it's unlikely something that serious would happen because if Titans really are inside the walls, it could mean the fall of Wall Rose. But right at that moment, the Titans suddenly appear, proving Sasha's instincts were. At that moment, a member of the squad rushes out and alerts everyone to mount their horses. They're instructed to split into multiple teams to spread the word and warn the people in all the nearby villages. After that, we see the character, Mike, fighting off a group of Titans. This scene shows us just how powerful Mike really is. He manages to hold his ground alone for several hours, battling wave after wave of Titans. Eventually, only 4 Titans remain. Since the villagers had already been evacuated and his mission was complete, he decides it's time to retreat. Mike calls out to his horse, preparing to make his escape, but just then, something unexpected happens. His horse is suddenly caught by a strange and unusual Titan standing around 18 meters tall. What makes it even more terrifying is the way this Titan behaves, with intelligence and control unlike anything seen before. The strange Titan calmly takes Mike's horse from him in a disturbingly intelligent way. Moments later, Mike is knocked down by another Titan and is caught in its grasp. Then, in a brutal scene, the Titan bites into him, tearing off both of his legs. In that shocking moment, the strange Titan begins to speak, something no Titan has ever done before. It commands the other Titan to stop eating Mike. Mike is left in utter shock, unable to comprehend how a Titan could not only talk, but also give orders to other Titans. The talking Titan begins to interrogate Mike, asking about their vertical maneuvering gear, specifically what it's used for. But Mike, overwhelmed by fear and disbelief, is unable to speak. Seeing no use in continuing, the Titan calmly commands the others to eat him. We then return to our main storyline, where a soldier arrives in a rush, delivering urgent news Titans have been spotted inside the walls. Sasha makes her way to a village, only to find that all the residents have already been eaten. But just as she's about to leave, she discovers a child and manages to save them at the very last moment. But what's truly unsettling is that there's no blood anywhere, and the villagers are completely missing. This raises a disturbing question. What exactly happened to them? Did they run? Or were they taken? On top of a nearby house, a Titan sits strangely still, smiling eerily. A veteran soldier senses that something is deeply wrong, but can't quite explain what it is. Soon after, the Titan appears to be trying to say something. The veteran soldier cautiously approaches, and suddenly, the Titan looks at him and says, "Welcome home." Shocked and speechless, the soldier can't process what just happened and leaves the scene. We then learn that all of this took place during the same time Eren was engaged in a fierce battle against the female Titan. After a long time, all the scattered teams of soldiers finally regroup. They report back that there are no signs of Wall Rose being breached anywhere. But this only raises a more terrifying question. If the wall is intact, how did the Titans get inside? After that, the soldiers decide to retreat to a nearby fortress to rest and recover. Once gathered, they begin questioning how the Titans managed to appear inside Wall Rose without breaking through it. They also talked about the eerie village, the one where all the people were missing, and the strange Titan that was smiling from the rooftop and could speak. These mysteries begin to weigh heavily on everyone. Later, everyone rushes to the castle's watchtower, and they're shocked by what they see. All the Titans have gathered around the castle. But unlike before, these Titans are moving and active even at night. This makes no sense until now they believe Titans were inactive during the night. So how are these ones different? What's really going on? After that, we see the talking Titan shouting from across the wall near the castle. Now we switch to Levi's squad. They're on a mission to investigate the cracks in the wall. During this, Hange realizes something shocking. If Eren can learn how to use the crystal hardening ability, he might be able to seal the breaches in the wall. Sealing Wall Shigashina means they'll finally be able to access the basement of Eren's house, a place full of secrets. Arn, with a serious expression, agrees to the plan and emphasizes how important the basement is. He says there must be something down there that can help humanity. After that, they arrive at a village and take a short rest. While talking with the leader of the wall cult, he refuses to reveal the truth about the Titans. However, he admits that there is one person who can speak the truth, someone who is now among the scouts. Her name is Christia. After that, they find out that Christia is inside a castle that is currently surrounded by Titans. Levi's squad decides to go after her and begin a mission to rescue her immediately. Now we return to the scene at the castle. We see that those who are capable of fighting are doing their best, but most of them can't fighting because they lack proper gear. Reiner and Bertolt try to stop a Titan that is about to break into the castle. At that moment, Reiner talks about their third friend who was eaten by a Titan, and Bertolt reassures him that both of them will return safely. In another scene, Reiner saves Connie from a Titan, which leads to Reiner's arm being injured. The Titans continue their relentless attack and the castle is on the verge of collapsing. The soldiers who are fighting the Titans fall one by one. Historia feels a surge of emotion and wants to join the battle against the Titans. But Ymir warns her that if she fights, she will die. At that moment, Ymir talks about a pact between her and Historia. The pact is that if Ymir reveals her secret, then Historia must also reveal her true name. Ymir says that the time has come to fulfill that promise. She stands atop the castle and holds a small blade, which she uses to injure herself and transform into a Titan. After revealing her true identity, Ymir fights against the Titans. At that moment, Reiner and Bertolt realize that the Titan who ate their friend was Ymir. Ymir climbs to the top and tries to stand her ground against all of them. But despite her efforts, she is overwhelmed and falls. Everyone thinks it's the end, but at that moment, Levi's squad arrives at the scene. They swiftly take down all the surrounding Titans, and Ymir is left severely injured. In the aftermath, Christia reveals her true name, Historia Reiss. After that, the scene shifts to the wall, where Bertolt tells Reiner that their village isn't too far from there and suggests they head that way. Shortly after, Franz returns from his inspection mission and reassures them that there's no visible damage or cracks in the wall. None of them realized the true situation except for Bertolt and Reiner, who had taken Anne aside to speak with him. But then Reiner suddenly says something shocking and strange. He claims that he is the armored Titan, and Bertolt is the colossal Titan. Bertolt tells Anne that Reiner is just joking, trying to downplay the situation. But Reiner continues speaking calmly and seriously, telling Aaron that if he goes with them, no one else has to die. Anne, shocked and furious, tells Reiner he must be exhausted and delusional. Reiner responds with certainty, saying, "I'm completely serious." He says he's torn because ever since childhood, he's been living among his enemies struggling to separate right from wrong, blending his two lives into one. Then he says that now it's time for them to fight as true warriors. Reiner shows Anne his injured arm, and we see it healing rapidly. Mikasa attacks them fiercely, striking both Reiner and Bertolt. She manages to hit them hard enough that it could have killed them, but instead, at that moment, they transform into Titans. Ymir and Aaron are grabbed, and the chaos begins. Anne, clutched in Reiner's grip, stares with eyes full of tears of rage, of betrayal, of bitter failure. At that moment, overwhelmed by emotion, Anne transforms into a Titan and launches a furious attack against Reiner with all his strength. Reiner and Anne begin to fight fiercely, while Bertolt handles the others from a distance. For the first time, we see Aaron using real combat techniques, applying his training in hand-to-hand combat. He tries to separate Reiner's head from his body in an effort to win the fight. At that moment, Bertolt lets himself fall almost as if he's losing consciousness, and crashes down onto Reiner and Anne. As he does, he releases an enormous burst of steam, creating a massive explosion-like blast that knocks everyone unconscious. 5 hours pass after the incident, and everyone slowly regains consciousness only to realize that Ymir and Aaron have been captured. At that moment, Commander Erwin arrives with a large number of soldiers and immediately begins planning a mission to bring Anne and Ymir back. They eventually reach the point where it's likely that Reiner and Bertolt have hidden themselves deep within the forest. Meanwhile, Aaron regains consciousness and realizes that both of his arms have been severed. Bertolt speaks calmly, explaining that Reiner is beginning to lose his grip on reality, confusing right and wrong, and living between two conflicting identities. This confusion in Reiner is the result of spending so much time living among his enemies, to the point where even he no longer knows if he's one of them or just a soldier carrying out a mission. Ym, now calm but cold, responds firmly saying that they are nothing, just murderers. And he makes a vow that he will make them pain in the worst possible way. Later, Ymir wakes up and explains to Eren that the Talking Titan was the reason other Titans were able to get inside the walls without actually breaking them. This revelation shocks Eren and he asks Ymir directly, then who is our true enemy? But Ymir, with a cautious and guarded expression, does not give him a clear answer. Later on, Reiner reveals the reason why they captured Anne. He says it's not just because Anne can turn into a Titan, but because he might possess a special power known as the Coordinate, a unique ability that could control other Titans. Later, the scouts track them down, and Reiner tells Ymir to go and bring Historia. At that point, Reiner transforms into a Titan, placing everyone on his back to flee. The scouts pursue them closely, launching a full-scale chase. Mikasa tries to cut through Reiner's Titan armor but fails. Shortly after, Erwin and his squad appear, bringing reinforcements, but suddenly a swarm of Titans charges toward them. Strangely, the Titans begin moving in the direction of Reiner, as if drawn to him. Seeing this, Erwin and his team change their strategy and redirect their movement accordingly. But what's even more surprising is that the Titans suddenly start attacking Reiner, trying to devour him. In response, Reiner begins to scream in distress. At the same time, Commander Erwin gives a decisive order to retrieve Eren at any cost, no matter what it takes. In a shocking moment, a Titan suddenly attacks Erwin and bites off his arm. But even in that state, Commander Erwin doesn't hesitate. He yells for the soldiers to push forward and rescue Anne. Meanwhile, Reiner, under immense pressure, loses his grip, causing both Anne and Bertolt to be torn from his hold. Immediately after, we see Commander Erwin, despite having only one arm, manage to free Anne. Mikasa grabs hold of Anne, and together they decide to retreat. Reiner, enraged by this, begins furiously hurling Titans at the scouts in an attempt to stop them. One of his throws nearly hits Anne and Mikasa, bringing them dangerously and caught. At that moment, another Titan appears, one we all recognize. The Smiling Titan. It's the same Titan that, before Eren's eyes, devoured his mother. Eren and Mikasa freeze in shock and despair, unable to act. But just in time, Hange arrives and intervenes, saving them and doing her best to support them in that critical moment. Elsewhere, Commander Erwin falls from his horse, gravely wounded and unconscious. At the same time, just as Hange reaches Eren and Mikasa to save them, the Smiling Titan suddenly grabs her and devours her right before their eyes. At that moment, Eren completely breaks down. Pain, defeat, and loss have all taken their toll on him. He looks at Mikasa and tells her that he's ready for the end. After that, Eren lets out a scream with all his might and launches an attack on the Smiling Titan. Following his outburst, all the other Titans suddenly freeze in place then. Without warning, they turn and attack the Smiling Titan, devouring it. After that, Eren glares at Reiner, his face full of rage, and lets out a furious scream. Suddenly, all the other Titans begin attacking Reiner. This gives the entire squad a chance to retreat and recover from the damage they've sustained. In another scene, we see Ymir feeling regretful for having betrayed Historia and setting her free. Afterwards, the scouts begin their retreat and successfully make their way back. Reiner and Bertolt sit down and reflect on the heavy defeat they suffered, realizing that their end has come. Then we return to M, who decides to learn the crystallization technique in order to restore and repair Wall Maria. Meanwhile, and he promised that he will killing Reiner and Bertolt. In the hospital, Commander Anne is seen having sacrificed himself to save Anne. Hange, Connie, and Captain Levi discuss the Titans that had entered inside the walls without breaking them. They come to the conclusion that all the Titans were villager in the village of Connie. This means that all the Titans were originally humans. After that, before the end of the second season of the anime, we see another scene where the Talking Titan reveals his true identity. This marks the end of Season 2 and the conclusion of the major events in the second season of Attack on Titan. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming videos. Until then, may you be safe and protected by Allah.